What's the most you ever lost on a coin toss? Sir?
Having a great and layered villain is one of the best feelings that you can have while watching a movie. So in this episode, I want to talk about my top 6 movie villains of all time. Before I get into it, this list is totally personal, and if your favorite is not amongst them, comment that and let me know.
Now calm down. The best thing we can do is go on with our daily routine. Alright?
Number 6. Nurse Ratched. Played by Louise Fletcher, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. If the scale of her movie was not as limited as A Home for Mental Patients, she probably would have been much higher on this list. Nurse Ratched sees all of her patients as test subjects, and she is not afraid to use dark and inhumane techniques to hold them in their places. Of course, she does not have any superpowers, but trust me, she's the meanest person that can appear on your screen. Well, if you want to know how manipulative and villainous she is, she can handle prime Jack Nicholson's crazy and, make him go to sleep. And we as normal human beings, we don't stand a chance against this sadistic woman. There's a fine TV show as well about her. Sarah Paulson plays her character on Netflix. If you want to yell at your screen, go watch it. You will be scared. You will have some weird feelings. Louise Fletcher won an Oscar for this movie when it mattered.
What business is it of yours? Where I'm from? Friendo?
Number 5. Anton Chigurh from No Country for Old Men, played by Javier Bardem. Make Javier Bardem wear a scary wig and don't give him but a few lines, and you got yourself the craziest and creepiest assassin ever in movies. Anton Chigurh is the manifestation of unpredictability. Almost 90% of his interactions with people ends up with a dead guy. Coen Brothers' antagonist is an efficient and professional killer who does not want to prove a point or be remembered as a villain or to be found. He is just there to get the job done and get what he wants. He emotes no feelings, no remorse, and does not give a crap about gender or age of his victims. His interactions with the gas station owner is one of the most tense and iconic scenes you'll ever see about a villain. And again, the wig.
Gli amici della vedetta ammirata da tutti noi, questa gemma propria della nostra cultura, saranno naturalmente accolti sotto la mia protezione per la durata del loro soggiorno.
Number 4. Hans Landa. Inglorious Bastards, played by Christoph Waltz. Quentin Tarantino is not for everyone, and as a director who, mostly has bad guys as the protagonist, he did a hell of a job creating Hans Landa. He is called the Jew Hunter in the movie, and he is one of the high-ranked Nazi officials who loves nothing more than finding and killing Jews. The scariest part about him for me is his knowledge. He can speak multiple languages fluently. He has a great knowledge of war and its strategies. He can strike a deal with anyone at any place he wants. And more importantly, he's an arrogant, ruthless, and ambitious man. This role was so complex that Tarantino almost abandoned the whole movie, claiming no one can portray Colonel Hans Landa until he met Christoph Waltz, and his unbelievable performance backed him an Oscar, like the previous 2 guys on this list.
Oops. Au revoir, Shoshana!
Number 3. T-1000, played by Robert Patrick, the Terminator Judgment Day. The most lethal Terminator ever created. This should sum up how wonderful this death machine is. Considered James Cameron's best fictional AI character ever, played wonderfully by Robert Patrick, T-1000 is the main antagonist of the second and the best, I repeat, the best Terminator movie ever made. And he is there to kill John Connor. His fluid metallic body allows him to shapeshift to any human and any shape he wants, and he is almost impossible to kill.
Get out of the way, John! John!
T-1000 is the inspiration for countless AI villains in cinema, and man oh man, don't get me started on the bad ripoffs, including one of the, newer Terminator movies.
There is no escape. Don't make me destroy you.
Number 2, Darth Vader, voiced by James Earl Jones. Star Wars franchise is a huge part of American culture, and I can comfortably say that the world, the storyline, and the technology used for this franchise changed generations of cinema. Alongside all this cool stuff, we are graced with a powerful, force-using, cool-looking, no-nonsense villain, Darth Vader. His iconic voice and look, his genuinely perfect lines, and his politics is some of the best things about a villain I've ever seen. He really is the most feared servant of the Emperor, and I do not care what people say about how cheesy the prequels were. I like the backstory that they showed us in the first 3 movies that came out in the early 2000s. There were so many flaws, but still, it was cool. And before we talk about number 1, do not forget to like and subscribe to my new channel.
In the fires of Mount Doom, the Dark Lord Sauron forged in secret a master ring.
Number 1, Sauron, Lord of the Rings. When I say Sauron, the Lord of the Rings, I don't mean the saggy loaf of bread portrayed in the Rings of Power. I mean the floating eye, the cool one, in the trilogy. The evilest of the evil, the definition of darkness, and the bleakest shadow in the Lord of the Rings world. Sauron is the most iconic villain of all time. There are so many people that might disagree with me, and they might say, what about Voldemort? Meh. But for me, Sauron is number 1. Lord of the Rings trilogy is rightfully considered the best trilogy of all time, and the fact that Sauron is just a floating eye in the movies makes him scary as hell, since imagine if he could really himself command an army in the Middle-earth. Sauron is a dangerous being who tasted defeat and failure many times, but he is so damn determined to get what he wants that he can leave parts of himself on a freaking ring and still keeps on living. So one day he can be reincarnated and be the doom to all of us. I know I could have said so many other names, and I could have talked about the names that I did a lot more, but I don't want to keep on yabbing about this stuff. So, what's your favorite amongst these names? And comment your thoughts and opinions down below. Don't forget to ask your significant other. Movies at 6. Goodbye.